To QETV Live show with your host, Miss H. I am so excited today about our show. We have some empowering, inspiring, and exciting ladies today on the show to just give you some community information about events that will be taking place here in the Washington, D.C. area. So what I want you to do now, if you're watching, I want you to go to VoxWave. Tell someone to go to VoxWave.com. That's VOXWAV, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can watch us live. I'm live here at QETV Show every Thursday from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. Yes, it's live. I am streaming live right now in Clinton, Maryland, every Thursday from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m., where we bridge inspiration with information for everyday life. If you got an inspiring word, you have an inspiring story, or you just want to share your story, your book, or if you're an author, if you have a business, you have products or services, and you're interested in sharing it here on the QETV Live show, please contact me, your host, Miss H, at 240-353-3806, and we can talk about you coming and doing a complimentary interview on the show. But for today's show, I want you to hold on to your seats, because again, we have two inspiring, empowering ladies on the show where they're going to share with you the gifts and talents that they have, that they're using right now to highlight, to enforce, and to empower you within our community. I want to just share with you right before I bring my first guest on and to share with you, I just want to talk to you about, just real briefly, again, we bridge inspiration with information. As I was looking at who these ladies are and seeing their impact in today's world, it just reminded me of the word inspiration, inspire. If you just pick that word apart, inspire, it means to breathe in. And when I look at it, that's what we all should be doing. We should be inspiring, meaning we should be breathing life into others, not taking life out of people, but breathing life into people. And we breathe life into people in a number of different ways. So on today's show, you're going to hear how they will inspire you, breathe life into you if you get connected with them. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you to Angela Heath. She is the producer and director of a premier documentary of women of faith, women coping with trauma. So help me welcome to the show, Angela Heath. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Miss H. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yes.
That's just something right now I can't wait to get into, to find out, unpack all of this, to find out exactly what this documentary is all about. But like I was just telling the viewers, the word inspiration, inspire, breathing in, I have to go back to the very first person that breathed life into me, and his name is Jesus. You know, if we go back to the beginning of time, that's how every creation became alive.
Absolutely.
The Bible says that God breathed into man the breath of life, and we became a living soul. And then we somewhere over the years learned how to deflate each other and other people around, and that's where we get a lot of sadness, depression,
Yes.
and all of that.
Yes.
But if we just get back to the original plan,
Yes.
inspiration, inspire,
Yes.
breathing life
Yes.
back into people.
Right.
So with this documentary, tell us about how you got started with
Sure.
this documentary and bring us up to present day.
Sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me just first say thank you for the opportunity. This is
Sure.
the first interview I've done for the film, so I appreciate you
Yay!
bringing me in. So thank you, Mrs. H. So I'm, let me see, where would I start? I'm a PK kid, so my dad is actually a pastor. So I've grown up in the church, and so I like to tell people that this film is.
Well, let's just tell people what is PK for
all
the
yes,
viewers
I'm
who
a
may
preacher's
not know.
kid. I'm a
right.
preacher's kid.
PK
so I'm
means preacher's
PK
kid.
kid. Yes.
Okay.
And so, so this is really my life's experience. So I attended an all-girls high school, all-women's college, but then I'm also a deaconess in my church, and I've grown up in the church. And so it's really the intersection of my life. So growing up in the church and being around women and girls my entire life. My mom also has a nonprofit in D.C. called the High Tea Society for Girls. And so I've just been brought up and taught to pour into women and girls. And so when this opportunity came up, God laid this on my heart about 13 years ago to do. And through a confluence of events of me running away from the idea of not wanting to do it, God, not me, it's too much, I can't do it, I'm not equipped, to then finding the partners and the team to pull it together. We're now at this point.
Well,
where
if you don't mind me asking,
yes.
What was your resistance? Why was there a resistance?
Well, you know, because my background is journalism, so I worked in television as a television reporter for about 10 years.
Okay.
And started out as a production assistant, worked my way up associate producer, then I did some on-air work. Now, it was a business news show, and so it was very facts-based. And so my fear, the biggest fear I had is, as journalists, we want to get the story right. And so when somebody's sharing their story, it's like they're giving you pearls, they're giving you jewels, they're giving you their life, a portion of themselves, and they're handing it over to you, the reporter. And so my fear was that I would drop those pearls, that I wouldn't tell the story right, that I wouldn't share it properly, that I would somehow mess it up, and just added that layer of fear that had no reason to be there because God told me to do it. So, you know, so it wasn't, it was only my own thinking that got in the way. And so once I put that aside, I realized that God had called me to this purpose and that He already had all the resources. He had it all planned out. He knew who I was going to interview. He sent people for me to interview, the equipment, the lights, the camera, the studio, et cetera, et cetera. He had it all planned out. So I got in my own way. And so but I just thank God for His grace and His mercy in sticking with me to complete this task. So Sunday.
Wow. How befitting, because our next guest title is Pink Ladies Are Pearl.
Yes.
And that's pretty much ties into today's show.
Yes, it's
but
beautiful.
You're actually right, because I've seen a lot of newscasters or journalists, once they take the show to the news, take people's stories, like you says, that are precious, and that's their story. And some of them are still struggling within that story, and take it and totally flip it and make it something that is not.
Absolutely.
But for you to already have that sensitivity to want to present it in its raw form, organic form, but yet with a lot of sensitivity to it.
Right.
That is really, it says a lot about you. I think a lot about your training for being that PK.
Yes.
So tell me, now that you got rid of the fear, because we know fear can stop us from doing any venture in life, and that's why today's show is to inspire you to move forward. But once you got that boldness to say, I will, yes,
Lord.
that yes in your spirit,
Yes.
what was your next steps?
Let's see. So I gathered a team because it was very important for me to be held accountable to this task. So I hired gathered a phenomenal team of 5 women, invited them to my home, prepared some food for them, and explained to them what God had called me to do.
That's the vision.
Yes.
Okay.
And I spoke the vision and made it plain,
Wow.
and they supported me the entire way.
I love it.
And so these were women who prayed with me, who checked in on me, who gave me assistance, gave me money, volunteered their time, and just women that God had placed in my life that were special to me. And so they were the ones that got me really going and kind of boosted me so that I felt safe enough to move forward in that space. And so they were my accountability partners, and that they gave me the engine and the drive that I really needed.
I
to
love
sort of
it.
move
I
forward.
love it.
Yes.
They pretty much inspired you as you were inspiring them to be a part of the vision.
Yes.
So this documentary, is it a series of stories about women in trauma?
So it's interesting you say a series. I am thinking that it will be a series, but initially what we're screening on Sunday is a 1-hour documentary film. It is a collection of 4 women's stories that I've interviewed, women who live in Prince George's County. These are professional women who have businesses, they have families, they are established women, they're educated, but all of them have experienced childhood sexual trauma. So it's a bit of a heavy topic, and I've had my own sister say to me, well, I can come and I can sing a song, but I don't think I'll be able to stay
and listen to.
And I said, well, see, that's the issue in my head. I didn't tell her this, but that's the issue, is that we don't talk about sexual trauma, right? It's sticky, it's icky, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, and it's hard to talk about, right? And I think a lot of it is people don't know how to talk about it. How do you broach the subject? Whether you're a victim or you're a relative of a victim, or it's happening, a child in your school, but it surrounds us. We hear about it in the news, but we, particularly in the African American community, don't really tackle it as I think we should. And so this film is meant to be a tool so that it can prompt conversation. It could be a jumping off point for greater conversation. And people can know and see that just because this happened to you doesn't mean it defines your life forever and ever. Good. Right? So these are specifically women of faith who have experienced childhood sexual trauma, but who have triumphantly found joy and peace and hope and love later in life. And so they're talking about their journey on how they did that.
So you would say that the target audience that you want to pull in is twofold. People who are been traumatized themselves and looking for answers or resources, or if you have overcome and you want to be a part, influential in helping others to cope with this, then you come as well as for people who do feel uncomfortable. You will learn the tools and the techniques to learn how to begin to open up.
Right, to have the conversation.
The conversation, because it can be sticky, messy, like you says. It can bring back a lot of memories and pain, and people don't like to go there.
Right.
So how do, for instance, if you did have someone that would be having a meltdown, is there help for that person that is sitting there, and then there's this outbreak? What would you say to that person that says, if I come, I'm afraid that I might have a meltdown? How could you help that person?
So we're actually going to have some counselors there that they're able to talk to privately if they need to. But more importantly, we'll have the resources that the county offers to share with them if they later want to go and have a conversation, really deal with it. So you know, part of what we do in the African American church, and I can say this because of being a PK kid, is that we don't really tackle it enough either. And I think we have a huge opportunity there to really address trauma in that way. So, you know, we tend to hide our trauma in the church, you know, and I've had people say, so let me just preface this by saying this has been my own experience of childhood sexual abuse, right? And so it's passionate topic for me.
So you are speaking from an experience place.
Absolutely. And so from my own experience, there wasn't a place in the church to really go and speak on that or to get counseling. It was sort of oh, you're just not praying hard enough, you just prayed a little longer, or take it to the Lord in prayer. We have these sort of sayings and different things that we tell people within our faith community to do. But no, there is a place for prayer, but there's also a place for counseling. For counseling and for therapy and getting that outside help. That does not dismiss God in any way, or decrease or limit his power in any way. But God wants us to speak and to get the help from licensed professionals who can help us unpack all of that's just been stuffed down in us. And a lot of times if we don't address the trauma, if it goes unaddressed, it impacts our family relationships with our spouses. It impacts how we treat our children and the fear we then input onto them.
Just layers
and layers. And then it almost consumes your life, and it's the lens through which you see the world is this trauma lens, but you've got to clear that away. You've got to really tackle that and unpack it, like peel back those layers and say, what am I feeling? And the ladies that we interviewed in the film, they tell you, I was angry with God. I fought God. Why did you let this happen to me? And I've been growing up in the church, and one of them also is another PK kid. And I've been active in the church my entire life. How are you going to let this happen to me, God, right? So, but if they talk about that struggle, and they talk about how God met them in that space and said, I still have a greater purpose for your life. I am still here, and I carried you through all of that. And just because this happened doesn't mean that I don't love you.
Right, it doesn't define you.
Yeah, it doesn't define you. You're still special and precious in my life. And
that's right.
Jeremiah 29:11, I still have a greater purpose for your life, right? So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. The subject matter itself is tough to deal with, but the outcome is beautiful. And that's what people will see when they come and see the film.
Well, let me ask you this. How did you choose to start your documentary with these 4 ladies? How were they selected?
Oh, boy. I did not select them. God selected them. It's hard to explain, but when God laid this on my heart to do, there will be instances where I'm out and about, and he will say to me, share the film. So it's not every woman that I met that God would impress on my heart, share the film. But there were some very specific people that he would tell me to share the film, that I'm doing the film, and that I'm producing the film. And so these 4 ladies all stepped up. They were ready to share their story. I think what's unique about all of them is that they've grown up in the church. They're active. They have families. They have daughters. It's the layers of that are really interesting too, because how they relate and what they're teaching their own daughters now, that they're of the same age of which the mom or the mother was molested or abused, and so that's a whole nother conversation of, I don't want to impose my fear and my trauma on my girl child. Right. And don't go there. Why are you sitting so close to that man?
Yeah, because it will pass down.
Right. And they haven't had that experience, but you could put that trauma and that fear, instill it in them just by your own actions.
That's
and so you got to really be careful about that. And so these 4 women were just the ones that God told me to interview, and they were ready. Wow. And so we follow them around. We see them with their families. We do studio interviews.
I'm gonna put up
it's beautiful.
So tell people where the
the event will be
held. The event
will
be, and the times and dates and the place.
Thank you very much. So the film will be screened at Overdue Recognition Art Gallery, and that's at Bowie Town Center. It's right outside the Macy's. So the LA Fitness is on one corner, Macy's is here, and then it's Overdue Recognition Art Gallery. Jackie Thompson and her husband own that art gallery.
Throw that up for
her. The event starts at 3 p.m. on this Sunday, June 30th. It'll run till 6:30. The ticket price is $35, and that includes the film screening, Q&A panel discussion, and a reception. So I invite everyone to come out.
And you put women of faith because it's very befitting, because it takes faith to come through a trauma-tied situation like that. Not only that, just sitting here listening to you, Angela, it's also for the women people who have not gone through this, and yet you're saying, here's some good things that God does. He allows people to hold these events, people to come forth and be bold to share these stories for you, so you don't have to go through this. Because if you learn some tools and techniques and some get wisdom, the Bible says with all thy wisdom get an understanding. If you get wisdom on how to keep you and your daughters and sons too,
absolutely,
away from certain things that these ladies could tell you that they saw these signs looking back now. I always hear people say, and looking back, this is what I discovered and noticed. And if you can hear some of that language, it can help you to prevent leaving your child or leaving your son or leaving yourself, putting yourself in a vulnerable situation where you could be at risk with some of these traumatizing things to happen. So if nothing more than just for the information to prevent, so you don't find yourself in that place, God, why me? And God is saying, I put the information out there for you, but you didn't get it.
And to raise the awareness, and that's what it is.
That's
much
the
like
word.
Breast cancer awareness, colon cancer awareness, there needs to be childhood sexual abuse awareness. And so I would really like to elevate that conversation so that people are able to talk about it more freely and it not be stigmatized in such a way that more people are left without the information because we're not having the conversation. So, yeah, that's what my hope is.
And if they want to see the trailer,
tell
them how to go to your website or your Facebook page, your Facebook page, and find the website.
Right. So our Facebook page is facebook.com, and it's Faith Trauma Film. So Faith Trauma Film, / Faith Trauma Film. And you can find us there, or on Instagram, it's PTS Rehab Works. And PTS Rehab Works, I should say quickly, is our nonprofit where we offer pro bono physical therapy services and health education. So this film is our first program or new initiative under our health education piece, where we're creating video and film content on health topics. And so this one, in my mind, is mental health. So we're tackling mental health, and this is one way that we decided to do it by looking at childhood sexual trauma.
Well, you know, I'm going to have you come back to talk about the pro bono physical therapy piece because, again, you know, lack of information, my people perish for lack of knowledge. When you don't know something, you know, you can't do any better. But once you get information, information become power.
Absolutely.
Well, Angela, tell them one more time. I'm going to throw up Ron again. How to view the
the trailer.
The trailer and where the event will be held again.
That's right. Okay, so Sunday, June 30th, this coming Sunday at 3 p.m. at Overdue Recognition Art Gallery. And that's right at Bowie Town Center. So if you can get to Bowie Town Center, you can get to us. Of course, there's plenty of parking. Tickets are $35 for the film screening, panel discussion, Q&A, and a reception. So we invite everyone to come. The trailer itself can be found on Facebook. Facebook page is Faith Trauma Film. If you just Google or search for Faith Trauma Film, you'll find our page with all of the information.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You know what this means.
What?
You're getting ready to do some series. And you're getting ready for a book. You're getting ready for women to flock. Because we can never have enough people to alert and to bring awareness to the things that we need in our society today. That's the humanity side of us. And God deals with the spiritual and the human side of us. And I love it. And I thank you for advocating for those who don't have a voice. And yet giving a platform to those who have a voice and want to share their story. So Angela, thank you for being my special guest.
No, I appreciate
today.
it. It's been my honor.
No problem.
Thank you.
Right now, we're going to take a station break, but we don't want you to go anywhere because just like I shared, this is a double hitter today. We have another young lady in the studio, Pink Ladies of Pearls, Tawana Simpson. She will be coming on in the second half of the show. But right now, we're going to take a station break and hear from some of our sponsors.
So you like smooth jazz? Great. Horn of Plenty, Harvest Harmony from saxophonist Travis Bridges. Smooth jazz and all the sax you'll ever need. Available at travisbridges.com. 786-487-7338. Horn of Plenty from Travis Bridges. All the sax you'll ever need.
You're watching the QETV Live Show with your host, Mrs. H. Tune in at voxwave.com or call in at 240-719-2560. Again, that's 240-719-2560. We're located at 4711 Auth Place in Camp Springs, Maryland. Watch live the QETV Live Show every Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Would you like to be a guest on the QETV Live Show with your host, Mrs. H? You may reach her at 240-353-3806. Again, that's 240-353-3806 or email QETVLive@gmail.com. The QETV Live Show is bridging inspiration and information for everyday life. You're watching the QETV Live Show with your host, Mrs. H. Tune in at voxwave.com or call in at 240-719-2560. Again, that's 240-719-2560. We're located at 4711
welcome back to the QETV Live show with your host, Miss H. Wasn't that a wonderful segment, Tawana, that we just had? Because, you know, it just reminds me of what I just saw in the news last night, how the stories, like she said, for Sunday may be traumatizing for people, but people need to hear those traumatizing stories. When we saw the picture, if you haven't seen it yet, you can go online. The man, the Spanish, the Mexican man with his little 2-year-old daughter laying face down in the water. It just brought people to tears and to their knees. And people said, why do they keep showing this image over and over and over? You have to show those images because you have to shake us and awake us to the reality that people are going through struggles and trauma. But the good news is we have people and places and sponsors such as Angela Hart, that Heath, that want to prepare you and be a safe place for you to come and get the help you need. And with Tawana right now, we're going to go right into her. It was so befitting for her to say, as a journalist, she would hear these stories. Yeah. And when she saw the pearls, she thought, I don't want to take these stories and mishandle somebody's life. Yeah. Because, Tawana, I just want you, first of all, I want to introduce Tawana Simpson, my friend, my colleague, a woman of God who has blessed me with words of wisdom and inspired my life, breathe into me. And as we breathe into each other, the breath of life, and encourage one another as we see the day approaching, I've been inspired by her creating a platform for women called Pink Ladies of Pearls. So she's having a special event this Saturday. We'll get more into it. But before you get into sharing the event, please tell us the story about what God gave you about the pearl, why you chose the pearl, and why that pearl that scratches the surface and how it comes forth and what it becomes. Just give them a quick story on.
Well, you basically said it.
I know.
You're trying to take away from
I'm
Saturday.
Trying to take it away, but I just want you to give a premiere of a reflection on what's going on for the event about that pearl.
Okay. Well, let me start off with saying how it began. Last January 2018, I woke up from a dream, because I'm a dreamer, and God had given me Pink Ladies of Pearls, and I was like, okay, what do you want me to do with that? And so and that was January, but not until the end of March, I went to a service, and I told God, I said, look, I don't want nobody prophesying over me. I just want to go to the service. I'm going to go to this other prayer shut-in, and I'm good. Well, lo and behold, the guest pastor that was there, he prophesied over me. And part of that prophecy was that what I was doing now was not what God was having me to do, but some things that he was going to pick up back inside me that I was doing prior to that I had stopped. Mm-hmm. And one of those things was that I was going to be working with women. I was going to be one that would help to restore women. And so I began to listen to that prophecy. I recorded. So if you're not recording your prophecies, it's very important that you do, because true. You are responsible for that prophecy, to develop it. So that was that March. And then someone else came to me, another gentleman came to me that April, basically was saying the same thing, because there were some things I had some questions about. So that was that April. Then turn around that May, another prophet comes to me and telling me the same thing that was told to me the first time. So June, I began to study on pink. I began to study on pearls. I began to, again, kept going over and over what the prophetic word was to me. And so, because I wanted to hit things on the mark. So I did some things last year regarding Pink Ladies of Pearls. And this is where you're talking about, where I discussed what pearls come from. Pearls come from the oyster, from the shell. And so the pearl is placed deep down into a dark place, into to the oyster, in that shell. And so that oyster is deep down into the ocean beds. And so that's where you can say, or symbolizes how God takes us. We're dirty inside, and he takes us and he brings us out of a place, and he allows those things inside of the oyster. There's nectar. I'm talking real fast. There's nectar, and then that nectar rubs us, and that's what helps to formulate the pearl. And so when time comes for that pearl to be pushed out from that oyster, then you see something that was beautifully made inside of the darkness. And that's how we are. God is preparing us and making us and transforming us inside a place of darkness. So even if you did, like the young lady was saying about the trauma, you don't have to wear that trauma as a badge.
Okay.
That is not what we're supposed to wear. I mean, you have been traumatized. You have been raped. You have been domestic violence. Don't wear that as a badge. That is not what God is calling you. He's calling you to be a person of love, a person of patience, a person of value, because that's what pearls are. They're value. They're priceless.
Yes, they
and
are.
that's what we are. We're value. But when it comes to the word pink, though, pink is the right person with God. It's joy. It means strength. It means passion. Having the passion of Christ. And so that's what we are. We're made of those things. And so when you're made of those things, and you can't carry on the trauma that you've been through. We're pulled out of that trauma. Those things that have rubbed us. And so we allow those things to rub you, to make you. I'm trying to tell you, I have come against some, even with preparing for Saturday, come against some harsh words, people saying harsh things to me, things like, oh, you can't do that. That is one thing you can tell Tawana, something that she cannot do. That is fuel. That fuels me. That drives me. It pushes me. I'm not going to say that I love the negative words, but I take those negative words, let them rub me, and let them continue to allow it to make me.
Nectar for
the
you?
nectar.
Okay.
The nectar. Rub me, push me, and fuel me. That's what I let those words do to me.
I love that. So whenever we get a bad word, or we get bad advice, or someone rub us the wrong way, think of that word nectar that she said, that you may be in that dark place and you hearing all these negative things. Think of that as the nectar pushing you around, moving you around, getting ready to pull you out to become that pearl. I love it.
Yes.
So tell us, okay, so
about
now
the
you get that.
The rooftop. So I went to, somebody told me, Tawana, I want you to come and see this place. And so when I went, it was on the rooftop of a building. And I stood there and I said, oh, yes, God, I hear you. I heard him so clear. He said, bring the women to the rooftop. The rooftop means it's like you're standing on top of your problems, your situations.
I love it.
Get a mental picture, just being on top of the roof, and everything is up under you. Every negative thing is up under you. And so you out in this open air, open atmosphere where you feel like you're just right there with God. There's no walls like a building or anything, no walls to like a barrier to hold you against being in the presence of God. I mean, of course we're in the presence of God, but it's just a symbolization of you being in the presence of God. You in the open air. And so I was up there again last night. Oh my God, I left my phone. I wish I would have had my phone. It was such a beautiful time just being able to sit there with God and watching the sunset, because we'll be up there on a time when the sun is beginning to set as well. And so, and it starts at 5 o'clock. And so we'll be up there when the sun sets. And so, yes, you may say, she got on all these different kind of pearls. Yes, I got them. So I want to show you that at this event, you get to wear your pink and your pearls, and you match up to any way you want. So if you want to wear a pink ring with pearls, or white ring with pearls. You can wear white pearl earrings, pink pearl earrings, blue pearl earrings, aqua pearl earrings, however you want. Something pink. Your pearls can be pink, and so that'll be your pink pearls. And so I bought you, Mom.
And what's that? Oh, I love the bag. I love the bag. I love surprises.
You can read that later. That's something personal to you.
I love it. And let me tell you, she calls me Ma.
Oh, yeah, I call her Ma.
Why, I don't know.
Yes, you do.
I am not double her age, so please do not get misunderstood, my viewers. Me and her are neck and neck. So just to let you know.
But
She'll
I
tell
bought
you
you
why.
strand of pearls with some earrings.
Look at that. How adorable.
So you don't have to wear them Saturday if you don't want to.
Yes,
but
thank you.
I can't come in here without a gift.
Yes.
Can't come without a gift.
Neither can I. So I appreciate that. And I always think that you should be a giver. Everywhere you go, you should go. But I thank you for that. I will wear them. And then this Ma Hightower again, just to let you know. I am not old enough to be her mother. So just clarify that. But anyway, when you was talking about being up there on the rooftop, and we have some pictures to show you as well, I was also thinking about your view is different when you come up higher.
Oh, yes.
So talk about that.
Yes, you get to see different. Your focus is different. Your eyes become open to see, and you're able to see how God sees a thing, how God sees you. Again, I say it's the open air, so you get to really take a moment and feel Him breathe upon you.
Okay.
Or the sunlight, get to see the rays of the sun hit your skin, and you get to see just how much God really, really loves you.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
again, talking about the trauma and the things that the ladies have gone through,
Right.
don't want you to stay there. Come up higher in your thinking about yourself. Come up higher in your thinking about how you're thinking about how God thinks about you.
Wow.
And where you're going. Some of these ladies I've talked with, and coming from all different walks of life, of course. Some are just starting their business, like the vendors that I'm having. Some are just starting their
scene, and you
their
can
business.
See, talk about. She also will be having vendors there. I see here
Lori Ray. You've had Lori Ray on your show.
With Shine-Spiration. Shout out to Lori. She will be there. And
then
I see
Takora Wooten. She's a book author of Dear Sister Queen. And she's also very creative with her hands. She does these praying dolls. And so then Jasmine Wesley of Jazzy Scents. She does body soaps and scrubs.
Oh, wow.
And then Tamika Howard of Mika's House of Jewels. And then Renee Huey. She's also a book author. And then she has her Veneta collection. That's women's apparels. And so... and then I have Watanya Jackson. When we were on furlough, Watanya started her business just this January, and it's been booming. She does sugar, make sure I say it right, sugar wooga sweeteries. Now, she comes in to try to make us fat in the office by bringing her cupcakes in, and we just love her.
She does cupcakes.
She does. That's one of the things she does.
So run through these vendors again, because these are all vendors that will be at the rooftop cookout.
Yeah.
And,
so you got,
oh my goodness, you said cookout. I see you have a chef as well as a DJ, too. So talk about that, too.
Okay. Laura Ray, Takora Wooten, Jasmine Wesley, Tamika Howard, Renee Huey. Now, Renee Huey is coming all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina, by the way.
All right.
Yeah, she loves me that much to come on up. Then we have DJ Hollis. Yes, we're going to have a DJ. And then Chef Reggie. Now, most of these people, they're just starting out with developing their business. Maybe 1 or 2 years or up to maybe 2 months of starting their business. And so I believe in using your resources. And so I'm a resource, and I know that I am.
Yes.
I'm a resource for helping people to get out there. Now, I'm just starting out with my thing, so I don't have it all together either. I'm just now getting on Facebook.
That's okay.
Oh, my gosh. So I've had to link up with people, and I'm still linking up with people. God is putting people in my path. And just like with these that are coming and others that are coming that have businesses, I want you to come, talk, and share your business. A lot of times women have said, I can't talk to other women. Women are catty. No. We're breaking those barriers. We're breaking those walls. We're tearing down those things. And so we can be open enough to receive from one another and give to one another. No more of this trying to beat down one another. No more of this we're beating up our men, because I said we're having men there as well. And so we can't do without our men. We need our men. There is no way I'm lifting up those heavy things. There is no way. Now, I am not the cook, so I need a cook. I told God I need a chef. So he's giving me a chef. Someone is willing to come and serve the lady and use his talents and to serve us. And again, this is going to be an opportunity for us to talk with one another, to get to know one another, and also to breathe in fresh air, the freshness of God, to replenish and to tear up those things that's inside of us, because He wants to do some new things. We're coming into the end of the 6th month of the year.
Yes, we are. It's June.
December, you were there.
Yeah.
I did the
fire pit.
The fire pit, and God used mine so wisely. We did the we did the fire pit, and so that was the time for you to link up with God, to hear and write down what you heard God was saying for you for 2019.
Right.
So we still got 6 more months at the end of this month. We still got 6 more months to tap into what God is wanting us to do. And so I am hoping that this is an atmosphere for women to see, okay, I may not have done what I need to do the first 6 months of the year, but I still have 6 more months. So whatever the fear is causing you not to be able to open up and do what you have envisioned, or your gifts or your callings or your talents, I am praying that this is a moment that you will be so charged.
I love it.
So encouraged,
yes,
so strengthened,
yes,
and filled with joy and feeling inspired to move forward to what God has had you to do the next 6 months, and which will be revolutionary for you and then for others. Because there is enough. You may say there's a lot of people doing jewelry, but there's not enough people like you.
That's true.
There's a lot of people doing radio, but not a lot of people like you.
That's right.
There's only one of you.
That's right.
So you're unique, and you're responsible for the gifts and talents that God has put inside you. And so, this is going to be hot.
Yeah. And, you know, the other thing, too, Tawana, as you were talking, for the ladies, because actually when she had her event in December, the fire pit, and we wrote down on a piece of paper the things we wanted to see God do for us in 2019. This was 2018, and we did it for the incoming year. One of the goals and one of the visions I had was to continue longevity on the show, because I didn't know how long I was going to be here, and I was 6 months in at that time, because I started June of last year. And here I am now, completed a year.
Yes.
And like she said, we still got 6 months to go.
6 more months to go.
And so there's so much more. And that wasn't the only thing I wrote. There's some other things that I'm yet waiting. But one of the things that I can say is inspiring is now you took us from the fire pit, and now we're going to the rooftop. Now my elevation and my thinking has to come up higher with my next goal that I have. And I have to see, like that eagle. He doesn't, he's not on the ground the chicken plucking.
High up.
He's high.
And
he's
he can
flying
see afar off.
Exactly. And so I want to be around thinkers and people who are elevating their thinking business-wise, professional-wise, family-wise, and then friendship-wise. Now tell us for the price and where the location and how people can get a hold of you if they are interested in coming, or is it too late?
It's not too late.
Okay.
So the location is called the PLAP. If you know where Baltimore Avenue is, near the courthouse in Hyattsville City.
Over by Busboys
and Poets. And that address is 5501 45th Avenue. It's in Hyattsville, Maryland.
It's on the screen
the
for you.
The vendors are going to start at 3 o'clock. So it's going to go from 3 to 6 for the vendors.
Okay,
and
so
then
from 3 to 6, if you want to see
the vendors,
you need to get there early.
Right.
From 3 to 6. Okay.
And then from 5 to 10 is when the cookout is actually going to start.
Oh, okay.
And so you have to be able to get into the building. So I'll have someone at the door to allow you to come into the building and then to get to the rooftop. So,
So I can't just go up to the rooftop. You can't just go,
no.
And this is VIP
this
type
is
stuff.
VIP type stuff. So, and the cost is $30.
Okay.
Because we need to pay for the venue.
Of course.
We need to pay for the chef. We need to pay for the DJ. There's things that have to there's a cost.
That you do.
And so $30, believe you me, is
that is
not
very,
a lot of money.
Reasonable, because number one, I get to visit the vendors table. I get to see the authors.
Yeah.
If I want to write a book, I
Yeah,
get to
you can
see
talk to
other
the authors.
authors.
That's right.
And get people to autograph a book if I pay for one from these authors. And again, these are professional people. And so the $30 is inclusive to go by the vendor's table, as well as you have a professional chef to get in on the rooftop. Now, will I need a bracelet to get in on the rooftop?
I'm still thinking about whether I'm having bracelets or not, because I'm going to have a sign-in sheet.
Okay.
So I'll know who has paid and who's not.
But I can't get in unless I get escorted up to the rooftop.
Yes.
And then that includes my food
that includes
on the
your
rooftop.
food and includes Sugar Wooga and some more people. I mean, I just have people that are just willing to bake and cook things. And it's so people are just using their talents and their gifts to help with this.
Yes.
And I'm overwhelmed. I really am. I am very overwhelmed by how much people are showing their love towards me. Okay. And it's only because I have shown my love towards them. And so this is what happens. People have had events. I can been tired. I'm in school. I also work full time. I'm a wife and I'm a mom. But people have events and I just go and support.
Right.
And this is what you do. You just go and support. You never know when you're doing something and you're going to be wanting some people to come and support you.
That's true.
So this is like seeds that I've sown, if you want to call it that. And so,
And not only that, the fellowship and the inspiration and the networking people for you to get a chance to meet these vendors, network with other people, and then just to be influenced by other people who are thinking like you think. But if you do feel like, well, I just need somewhere, be in a group of people that want to think like me, or I need support or help in, or I need to be inspired, come on down to the rooftop to Pink Ladies of Pearl. Well, come up, that's right, because we don't want you to go down. We want you to come up. And it's easy. Over in Hyattsville, let's give that address again. 5501
45th
I'm going
Avenue.
to throw it back up. Is 5501 45th Avenue, Hyattsville, Maryland. The event is from 5 to 10 p.m. On the first level of the rooftop. But don't forget, the vendors starts from 3 to 6. So if you're interested in meeting the authors, you're interested in meeting the baker who's baking the cupcakes, and for the young lady with the jewelry and some of the other vendors that will be there, you need to come between the hours of 3 and 6 to be a part of the vendors, to meet the vendors. And then from 5 to 10 p.m. And then you just need to come on out and have a good time. Remember, wear your pink or wear some pearls. And you can find those anywhere, to be honest. You can find pearls. Actually, I went out and bought some. Ron, we can take that down. I can highlight some of these pearls on. I just went out and the lady was selling them at one of her tables, and she just gave me the whole collection.
Wow.
I said, I'm going to an event, and she said, oh, just take them all.
Wow.
And I took 3 strands of these
And you got
pearls.
2 different colors.
2 different shades of pink. And they were all right there together. Like Tawana says, whenever you're moving towards your destiny or purpose, things align with you. And I can't believe it's already at the end of the show.
Well, I'll see you on Saturday.
Yes, and not only that, I want to read, do some housekeeping here, and read some information from one of our gentlemen that used to have a show here on Vox Wave. They memorialized his service last Thursday. As a matter of fact, 1 week from today, Bruce Gilmore went home to be with the Lord, and we're still keeping the family and friends in our prayers. So as we remember Bruce Gilmore, but it doesn't stop there. What I want to read to you is now the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department is offering a reward for any information, $25,000 reward leading to any information. Let me read this. On Wednesday, June the 5th, is when Bruce was shot and killed in the 3500 block of 22nd Street Southeast. The Metropolitan Police Department seek the public assistance. And the reason why I had to read you the actual date, because when you think back to that day, June the 5th, if you were anywhere in the 3500 block of 22nd Street Southeast, if you've seen or heard anything, please call the Metropolitan Police Department with any information. I don't care how small or minute you think it is, let them decide what they think. And they do have an anonymous tip hotline. That's 202-727-9099. You can remain anonymous, but call them at 202-727-9099. Again, our prayers and our thoughts are with the family,
Yes.
but as the young lady Angela said at the beginning, thoughts and prayers are great, but it's nothing like the person that took the life of Bruce. We need that person off the street, and any information that can lead to the arrest of the person or persons would be very, very helpful to the Metropolitan Police Department. So again, thank you for helping and calling that tip hotline. But as we end today, I want to thank you for viewing QETV Live Show with your host, Miss H. I also want to thank Angela Heath for being a special guest. Again, she is the producer of her new premiere screening show that will take place on Sunday. When would that be? Sunday, June 30th. Go on her website. Her website is, did she leave me the website, Angela? If you go on Women of Faith and put in premiere screening, you should be able to pull it up. Or if you go back to the show, she had to leave, had an emergency, and she had to leave out. So I wasn't able to write down her actual website information. But if you go to the documentary of Women of Faith, Coping with Trauma, as well as Pink Ladies of Pearls Rooftop Cookout this Saturday from 3 to 6 is the vendors, and from 5 to 10 is the actual cookout celebration where ladies and men, you said men?
It's just those
just
three
a
men.
lady, just those men, the chef and the DJ, are the men, but it's for the ladies to come out and enjoy a wonderful evening on the rooftop. Family, food, and friends, and fun. We're going to have an exciting time. Tawana, thank you for being my special guest on the QETV Live Show. We got to have you back again, as always. Again, love you. Peace and love.